What's up, everyone? This week has been absolutely wild. And I'm not just talking about the NFL wildcard round. We've got Mike Tomlin stepping down after 19 years, Aaron Rodgers potentially riding into the sunset on a pick six, and oh yeah, millions of Americans couldn't even call their friends to talk about it because Verizon decided to take a nap. Let's break down this chaos. First up, let's talk about the Verizon outage that had everyone panicking on Wednesday. Millions of customers across the country, from New York to Los Angeles, Houston to Phoenix, suddenly found themselves completely cut off. No calls, no data, just vibes. And the best part, it happened right in the middle of the workday. Imagine trying to close a deal, coordinate a meeting, or just order lunch, and your phone is basically a very expensive paperweight. Verizon blamed it on a software problem. A software problem? The nation's largest wireless carrier brought to its knees by some buggy code. People couldn't make emergency calls, couldn't reach family, and had to resort to, wait for it, actually talking to people in person. The horror! The outage lasted for hours before finally being resolved, with Verizon issuing a very corporate "we're sorry" statement. But here's the kicker. They still haven't fully explained what actually went wrong. Cool transparency, guys. Now, speaking of things going wrong, let's pivot to football. Because while Verizon was down, the NFL playoffs were serving up their own brand of drama. The Houston Texans absolutely demolished the Pittsburgh Steelers 30-6 on Monday night, and I mean demolished. This wasn't just a loss, this was a statement. The Texans defense, which everyone's been saying is the best in the league, proved it by holding Pittsburgh to just 175 total yards. 175! My grandmother's book club could probably put up more yards than that. Aaron Rodgers, the future Hall of Famer who came to Pittsburgh to finally end their playoff drought, had one of his worst games of his career. 4 sacks, 2 turnovers that were both returned for touchdowns, including a pick six on what might be his final NFL pass ever. Imagine that being your legacy moment, getting picked off and watching from the ground as a safety runs it back while you're basically waving goodbye to your career. And here's where it gets even spicier. Less than 24 hours after that brutal loss, Mike Tomlin, the longest tenured coach in the NFL, stepped down. 19 years with the Steelers, 1 Super Bowl championship, never had a losing season, and now 7 straight playoff losses tied him with Marvin Lewis for the longest postseason losing streak in NFL history. That's the kind of record you don't want to be tied for. Tomlin's departure sent shockwaves through the league. This is a guy who's been the face of Pittsburgh football since 2007, and now the Steelers are looking at a massive rebuild. New coach, probably a new quarterback, and a fan base that's been waiting since 2016 for a playoff win. Some fans were literally chanting "Fire Tomlin" during the game, so maybe this was inevitable. But still, 19 years, that's an era ending. Meanwhile, the Texans are rolling. 10 straight wins, first road playoff victory in franchise history, and now they're heading to face the Patriots in what's shaping up to be an absolute defensive slugfest. Speaking of the Patriots, they barely squeaked past the Chargers 16-3 in a game that was basically a defensive clinic. Drake May in his first playoff game threw for 268 yards and a touchdown, but also had an interception and lost a fumble. The difference? The Patriots defense absolutely suffocated Justin Herbert and the Chargers offense. 6 sacks. 6! Herbert was running for his life all night and the Chargers couldn't find the end zone even with a GPS. They managed just 207 total yards and went one and done in the playoffs for the 2nd straight year. That's gotta hurt, especially for a team with championship aspirations. But here's where it all connects, and this is kind of hilarious. The Verizon outage happened right before wildcard weekend. So you've got millions of fans trying to coordinate watch parties, trying to call their buddies to talk trash about the games, trying to order pizza, and nothing works. Can you imagine being a Steelers fan, watching your team get absolutely embarrassed on Monday Night Football, wanting to vent to your friends, and your phone's dead? That's adding insult to injury. Or picture this, you're a Chargers fan. You just watched your team go scoreless in the end zone again in the playoffs. You want to rage tweet about it, and Verizon's like, nah, sit with your feelings. Brutal. Now, the Patriots get the winner of Houston's Steelers game, which we know is Houston, and that matchup is going to be intense. Two of the best defenses in football going head-to-head. Drake May versus CJ Stroud. Young quarterbacks, championship dreams, and defenses that will absolutely punish any mistakes. The Texans are riding high with that dominant performance, but the Patriots have home field advantage and just got their first playoff win since winning the Super Bowl in 2018. This is Mike Vrabel's first season as Patriots head coach, and they've already exceeded expectations. Nobody saw them winning the division, let alone hosting a divisional round game. Meanwhile, the Steelers are in complete chaos mode. Tomlin's out. Rodgers might retire, and honestly, going out on a pick-six is about the worst way imaginable for a legend to end his career. The franchise is at a crossroads, and after 9 straight seasons without a playoff win, the pressure is mounting like crazy. And Verizon, well, they're probably hoping everyone forgets about that whole outage thing now that football's dominating the headlines. Convenient timing, right? Software glitch resolved, moving on, nothing to see here. But seriously, this week showed us 2 things. 1, technology is great until it isn't, and when it fails, we all realize how dependent we've become on it. And 2, the NFL playoffs are absolutely ruthless. Legends fall, dynasties crumble, and young teams rise up to take their shot at glory. So what's next? We've got an incredible divisional round coming up. Patriots versus Texans is going to be a war, and somewhere Steelers fans are mourning the end of an era while hoping the next coach can finally break that playoff curse. As for Verizon customers, just maybe keep a backup charger handy and your Wi-Fi password memorized. You know, just in case the nation's largest carrier decides to have another software issue during the conference championships. If you enjoyed this breakdown of the week's absolute chaos, smash that subscribe button. Drop a comment telling me, do you think Aaron Rodgers should retire or try one more year? And should the Steelers have kept Tomlin? Let's debate in the comments. And hey, if you made it this far, you're the real MVP. Stick around because I'll be covering every wild moment of these playoffs. Trust me, after this wild card round, anything can happen. See you in the next one.